Good morning, Devils fans. We start, and now we got feet. For today's spotlight is on Nolan Foote. Born November 29, 2000, also in Colorado like his brother, obviously during the time spent there with his parents, with his dad, Adam, the former NHLer who played with the Colorado Avalanche, and their mom, Jennifer. And of course, his brother, Cal, who I have already done one of these videos on previously. Now, Nolan, just like his brother, would play Pee Wee with the Colorado Thunderbirds, into AAA, and then through U16s. At the 2015 WHL draft, Nolan would be drafted 43rd overall by the Kelowna Rockets, the same team that drafted his brother. He would play in Kelowna for 3 seasons before being drafted 27th overall at the NHL entry draft by the Tampa Bay Lightning, again, the same team that drafted his brother. He'd go on to play 1 additional season in Kelowna and would never play for Tampa Bay because on February 16, 2020, Nolan would be traded along with a first-round pick to the New Jersey Devils for Blake Coleman. Nolan would play his first pro game in the AHL as a Binghamton Devil. He would make his NHL debut that season on April 18, 2021, in an eventual loss to the New York Rangers, where Nolan did record his first NHL point, assisting on a goal by Nico Hischier. He would score his first NHL goal in the very next game against Arundel, also in a loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins. He played 6 games that season, with those being his only 2 points. Nolan would continue to see most of his ice in the AHL, but as a sophomore would get into 7 games, scoring 3 goals and an assist. In his most recent season, in Nolan's third, as a pro, he'd again get into 6 games, only scoring a single goal, giving him 5 goals, 2 assists, for 7 points in 19 regular season games, no playoff games as a New Jersey Devil. On the ice, it's not much of a sample size to go off of, but he has been a fairly solid AHL player over his career. He does bring a strong shot for a goal-scoring touch with a side of physicality. Basically, from what I have gathered, a little bit of clips I have watched and seen of him, and just chatter of people whose opinions I trust on players developing up through the leagues. He definitely plays a power forward type game with a lot in his toolkit to make him a capable NHLer. The thing that seems to be holding him back a bit would be his skating. So he would need to find a way to maximize his skating efficiency or just find better pockets of ice to minimize his need for skating. We see plenty of very, very successful NHLers that really aren't the best skaters, but have amazing, amazing careers. And because of the ability to find good pockets of ice and not have to rely on skating to make it back up and down the ice, but instead minimize how much they actually have to skate because they're just always in the right spot. So if Nolan can either figure that out or improve his skating a bit, again, we're not looking for anything crazy. He's really a 4th liner here, so it just needs to be capable enough to be able to fill in that role. Off the ice, kind of similar to his brother, I don't really have much media of Nolan to go off of here. Nor very many articles talking about his life outside the rink. I mean, there was even a get to know Nolan video from his WHL days, and even that just talked about all on ice stuff. So again, kind of hard to see what they kind of do away from the rink, but it's kind of weird, being a son of such a great NHLer, that there's not more media pieces on either of the sons. But hey, maybe they're just a hockey family that lives and breathes the game and they never leave the rink, and that's why there's not much else on them. I'm not so positive that's the case, but hey, maybe we'll get a bit more with both brothers now in the system. If they magically both made it up to starting roles on the big club, who knows, maybe we'd get some nice pieces about him. So going forward, we know management is very big on Nolan. It feels like they kind of have him already penciled in for that 4th line left wing, but obviously he still needs to earn that spot. He certainly brings a niche that some of the other guys fighting for 4th line positions don't, as in he has probably the best shot of any of them, and likely is going to bring more physicality than any of them as well. He's no longer waiver eligible, so it's really now or never for him. He is still on his ELC, but I just don't see a way where he is sent back down to the AHL through waivers and risk losing him. I mean, he still is RFA status, so you don't usually like losing those type of guys for free. So if he doesn't make the starting lineup out at camp, I could see him being a healthy scratch, but it really does feel like that spot is for him to lose. I don't see him getting much penalty kill time, probably not even a second of it, but there is an outside chance he does see some power play 2 time, but even that unit's quite bloated given how much top-end talent we have to fill in the first power play unit, some of that talent's going to trickle down to the second unit. So I think it's going to actually come down to, does Holtz make the big club or not? If Holtz does, I don't really see a spot for Foote to fit in on either power play, but if Holtz doesn't, I could see Foote getting some time as the trigger man on that second unit. If he can establish himself as a bona fide fourth line guy, that would kind of be huge for the team because he brings exactly what we need for on that line. So really that's what we're looking for from him this season. Can he establish himself there? Get an extension, no matter what, it's probably going to be like around $1 million at best. So, it's nothing sort of bank breaking for what we would be offering to extend him here. It's just, is he worth making that extension for, to see if he does have a spot going forward in the future for this team. So top three, number 3 is actually going to be the first goal that he scored in the NHL as a Devil. It wasn't anything jaw dropping, but it's still your first goal, so it's always easy to remember those. It was just a nice shovel shot into a fairly open net with a nice cross ice pass from Nick Merkley. It was a losing effort. We were still down 2 goals after this in the third period, but hey, first NHL goal, he's always going to remember it, so it's something I'll remember about him as well. At number 2, it's actually going to be his first assist. Now, I think this was a much, much nicer play where he actually had a great board battle where he was essentially 4-on-1 against Rangers. He was absolutely 4-on-1 surrounded, and each of them at least had his sticks going after this puck, just like Nolan. But he's the one that came away with the puck and then set up a tic-tac-toe play that ended up in a Nico Hischier goal. So, unfortunately, again, that also was a loss to the Rangers. But hey, got us a better draft pick, right? So, it was a great individual play there by Nolan. And if you haven't seen that play, it actually kind of shows what he can bring in that power forward game along the boards deep in his zone. So, it was very nice by him. And then number 1, the thing I'm just going to remember the most at this point in his career, is he was traded to come to this team for Blake Coleman. We all know Blake Coleman was an absolute fan favorite, someone who just, every moment he was on the ice, he brought something. Fans absolutely loved Coleman. Obviously, we're happy that he got his 2 cups. Obviously, we're happy he got his payday that there was no way we were going to give him. But still, you were traded away for a fan favorite, so it kind of set maybe not Nolan's fault, but it set a high bar for him to come in and at least make this team at some point, which it's looking like he's set to do this year. So definitely going to be keeping my eye on him. Very excited. I really hope he shows up and shows out for the team in training camp and preseason, because if he cements himself there in that fourth line, oh boy, this forward group 1 through 12 is scary. So that's really going to do it for today. As you can see, I'm kind of back in this room just in a little bit of a different setup. I got the hat on today. And it's the end of the weekend. Looks to be a pretty nice day outside. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will see you on that oh so cheerful Monday morning tomorrow. And as always and forever, let's go Devils.